the paperwork's been completed, and we're ready to go as soon as you're ready to take it. And Mr. Klein is on the Zoom. I do see his face.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Williams. We'll finish calling the calendar and we'll get back. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Position 2, Jesus Garcia. And I see that Madam Interpreter's on. We have a number of cases this morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Garcia. Let's see, is Attorney Sperling on?
Señor García, necesita intérprete.
Sí.
Ok, está el señor Sperling.
It doesn't appear. We'll give her a moment to get on with us this morning. We'll let them know that we'll come back to her.
Señor, hablamos con usted en un momento.
Ok, gracias.
All right, thank you.
Position 3, Daryl Gunter.
I'm here.
Good morning, Mr. Gunter. Let's see. Ms. Marshall Story, you with me? Is she going to be here today, Ms. Githier? Good morning.
I was expecting her to be here, but I don't see her. I will contact her now.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gunter, Mr. Gunter, could you hold for us and we'll be back to you, okay?
No problem.
Position 4, Daryl Johnson.
Judge, that's my case. Good morning. He's present. That should be a negotiated plea. I submitted the paperwork last court, but I have it again if it needs to be sent again.
Good morning. So we have this paperwork.
I do have it.
Okay. Yes, we have the paperwork. I will be with you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Position 5, Richard Matthews.
Good morning, Your Honor. Richard Matthews is my case, Wanda Gant. I am requesting a reset to the next plea calendar. I have received discovery, Your Honor. However, the latest I requested and received as late as yesterday, and I have not had the opportunity to go through all of that. So I believe that an additional reset will suffice, Your Honor.
What is our reset date?
Confirm it.
We'll get your reset date on this Gant. I'll come back, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 6, Alan Smiley.
I just received his plea paperwork, so I'm assuming he's going to be logging on, Your Honor.
Richard Matthews, I'm right here.
So, is Mr. Smiley on the line? Alan Smiley? All right, I'll hold Ms. Githier.
Thank you.
Position 7, Alante Waters.
Good morning, Your Honor. The announcement for that position is we are requesting a jury trial for waiving arraignment, and I will submit the waiver to the court.
Just so everyone knows, Ms. Gant, I don't know if you have heard this, if the announcement has been made, but on the Orca calendar, all cases that are on an Orca calendar will remain with Orca. As such, all bench trials and jury trials taking place from the Orca calendar. I don't know if we have a jury trial date. I know we're going to begin jury trials next month. So do we have jury trial dates that we're going to set up as of yet?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
You got it?
November 15th.
Okay, thank you, Ms. James. So I take it that, Ms. James, that you want me to start placing these jury trials on starting November 15th?
Correct, Your Honor.
November 15th, Ms. Gann.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Your Honor, if I may, Mr. Matthews is on the line. May he be excused?
Yes, you have a good day, Mr. Matthews. We are also, Ms. Gann, going to send you a case management order and a request for a jury trial. Yes.
You ask what time for the jury trial on 15th?
I take it what time are those going to start? Ms.
9
Gann?
a.m. calendar, Your Honor.
Okay, 9 a.m.
Your Honor, did you say November 15th or the 16th?
Is
Jury
it,
trials will start on November 15th, 1-5.
That's a Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday.
They're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for jury trials.
Okay, thank you.
That's the information that I got from Judge Edline. Thank you.
all right. We have a reset date. for-
Yes, sorry, either November the 2nd or November the 9th. Does that work for Ms. Gann?
November 2nd or 9th, Ms. Gann, for Mr. Matthews.
Let's see, Your Honor. November 2nd, Your Honor, I do have other positions on that calendar. November 2nd works.
Okay, very good. We'll reset Mr. Matthews for November 2nd.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the Orca E final plea calendar, position 1, Marco Cambrone.
Morning, Your Honor, Jason McClendon. My client is right here, right behind me. We are ready for a plea. I sent the paperwork over to Ms. Marshall Story last Thursday, and we will need the services of the interpreter.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. McClendon. Do we have his paperwork?
No, sir.
And I'm sorry, Mr. McClendon, who did you send it to?
Miss Erica Marshall Story. She emailed me on Thursday requesting it, and I sent it to her. I can send it to whoever I need to.
I'll put my email.
Okay, is Ms. Marshall Story on with us yet, Ms. Githia?
It doesn't look like it, and she hasn't responded to me yet.
I'll send it to the attorney.
Okay.
What is Mr. McClendon? I'll send it to him.
We're gonna send you a request, Mr. McClendon, if you can send it to the email that's sent, we'd appreciate it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Position 2, Cesar Gonzalez.
González,
I'm here.
aquí es. Necesita intérprete, señor González.
No.
Okay, he doesn't need an interpreter, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gonzalez, you're represented by Mr. Rosenblum, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Have you heard from him this morning?
No, he hasn't messaged me.
Okay, while we're going through the calendar, I see that you're here. Thank you. So would you mind giving him a call and let him know that we're in court, please?
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll hold.
All
Position 3, Rambo was null pros. I signed that this morning. Is Deidre Rambo on the line?
I'm here.
Okay, you have completed the classes. We've gotten the paperwork, and the solicitor has dismissed your case, and I signed that null pros this morning, so you're free to go now.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day. Position 4, Giselle Rosado.
Your Honor, I spoke with her ex-boyfriend, Freddie Haddock, and he's told me that she is currently in Puerto Rico receiving medical treatment, and I have requested some medical documentation. I haven't received it yet. If this could be reset to further notice,
Excuse me, Judge. This case has been on the calendar on several occasions. The interpreter was supposed to read through the paperwork that was sent to determine what would happen with the case. Judge Williams sat on was on the bench the first time. And he's been sending in paperwork saying that she no longer lives there, that she's in a treatment center, which I'm assuming she is. But the interpreter was supposed to be able to read through what the Spanish paperwork said that he sent in as far as the conditions for what.
Whose case is this, for the solicitor?
And before,
Sarita Githia, Your Honor.
Did you hear what was just been said, Ms. Githia?
I heard the first part of it. I didn't hear.
Apparently, we needed an interpreter from a previous calendar that was up with Judge Williams, so that the interpreter could read over the paperwork so that you all could make some determination as to what you're going to do with the case.
Yes, I did speak with the litigation manager and gave her a heads up that Ms. Rosado may or may not appear.
I guess the question is, do you need the interpreter to read over your paperwork today, so that I guess you know what it says, given that it says.
I can put the offer on the record. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking, it's my understanding, this was not my case to handle from the beginning, but from what I'm understanding from the litigation manager, is that there was some paperwork that the state was supposed to read over that was in Spanish, that you all requested a Spanish interpreter to read over so that you could make a determination as to what you would like to do with the case. That's my understanding, so I don't know.
I do apologize, Your Honor. The first time it was on the calendar, I did not handle, so I'm not aware of that. So I do apologize. I will look into it.
it was Ms. Marshall's story, from the very beginning, when he was on the calendar, and she sent over his paperwork. So I can email this over to the interpreter, so she can read through it, and we can go from there, if that's what you want.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure who the interpreter was.
Did you hear that, Ms. Githia?
Yes, Your Honor, that's fine.
So that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
And so, Madam Interpreter, we're gonna email you some documents, and hopefully maybe put you into a breakout room with Ms. Githia sometime, so that you can read those to her, please. Okay. Position number 5, LaToya Winslow.
I'm here.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Ghazi for Ms. Winslow. What has happened in the case is we have reached the state and requested some more additional information from us. We provided that to the state, and she was going to talk to her supervisor about the case. And it's our understanding that that hasn't occurred yet. And that she had emailed me, and she said that she is okay with a reset for the plea, so we don't put it in trial status yet, and we're optimistic of a non-trial resolution. So we'd ask for a reset, and that was Ms. Story.
Okay, and let's see, and that's fine with me. November 2nd and November 9th, which works best.
We have November 9th, Your Honor.
Okay, so reset you for November 9th, and if you are able to come to resolution, please get that paperwork together prior to court so that we can move it forward quickly.
Understood, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. You all have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Okay. And let's see, the August the add-on calendar, Carl Smith.
Good morning, Your Honor. Robert King on behalf of Mr. Smith. I'm actually sending over the paperwork now to Ms. McCutcheon. He just signed it and sent it to me, so I'm sending it to her now.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. I was not certain what was going to happen this morning. I sent the paperwork last Wednesday when the court reset the case. I'd not heard anything back. So is it going to be a negotiated plea this morning, Mr. Kenner?
Well, based on paperwork, I think we made an agreement. The only issue is whether he's going to do nolo or guilty, and we put nolo. I spoke with Mr. Gamish regarding that, so you and I can talk about it.
Okay, Judge, this is new to me. Then we'll have to go out into a breakout room. I thought that the negotiated plea was already set and we had the terms according to the plea paperwork that I sent a week ago. If we can go into a breakout room, please, Judge, myself and Mr. Kenner.
Yes, Ms. McCutcheon.
Thank you.
So if we can put Mr. Kenner and Ms. McCutcheon to a breakout room. And
Thank you.
we'll hold on that. So let's see. I want to take the pleas that I already have, but I don't know if Ms. Marshall's, Ms. Githiega.
Yes, Your Honor, I was unable to understand her, so I'm just waiting for her to call me back, but I do have 2 pleas.
Okay, so why don't we, good morning, Ms. Riley. So which 2 pleas are yours?
Good morning.
Alan Smiley and
Okay.
Daryl Johnson. And I just received Mr. Smiley's paperwork at 9:01. So if you give me one moment, I can forward that to the litigation manager.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to take the attorney cases first. So we'll do Daryl Johnson first with Mr. Blevins. That's okay with everyone.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
And can we go ahead and put Ms. McCutcheon and Mr. Kenner into a breakout room, please?
Mr. Johnson, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay.
Is Ms. Smith? Okay.
Your Honor, who's the other attorney? I mean, who's the attorney that you'd like in the breakout room with Ms. McCutcheon?
Mr. Kenner.
Kenner?
Yes. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Johnson. Can you raise your right hand for me, sir? Do you swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can put your hands down. Ms. Githiega?
Yes, Your Honor. One moment. The state expects the evidence to show that on June 14th, 2020, at Rucker Road and Charlotte Drive in Fulton County, an officer arrived on the scene and could smell alcoholic beverage coming from Mr. Johnson's person. He appeared confused, sluggish, and unbalanced, but was still unbalanced. A field sobriety test were performed, and based on the test and the other factors, the officer concluded that Mr. Johnson was under the influence of alcohol. The offer is 12 months to serve 1 day, balance I'm sorry, Your Honor, I may also state that due to Fulton County Jail not taking arrestees with certain charges, Mr. Johnson was released with citations. So the offer is 12 months to serve 1 day, the balance probated, a $300 fine, 40 hours of community service, alcohol, drug evaluation and treatment, and risk reduction for the DUI less safe. The failure to maintain lane and the DUI per se will be null prost.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes, Your Honor, that is the negotiation. We'd ask Your Honor to accept the plea as negotiated.
Mr. Johnson, it's my understanding that in case 21 CR 001001F, you wish to plead guilty to driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Drugs or alcohol at the present time?
I can't hear you.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at the present time?
No, sir, I'm not.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with your counsel's representation?
Yes, I am.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on this charge, and not by pleading guilty to it. You've given up your right to a trial by jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
You force or coerce you to plead guilty?
Your Honor.
Was that a no?
No, sir, Your Honor.
I will accept the plea as negotiated. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to waive the probation fees for you while you're on probation to help you get and stay on your feet. And Mr. Blevins, do we have a time that he wishes to turn himself in?
No, Your Honor.
When would you like him to turn himself in?
Mr. Johnson, you still have to do the 1 day since you weren't arrested originally on this. What's a day that you can just turn yourself in to do that?
I still got to do the 1 day.
Yeah, you haven't done any time on it.
Okay. I'm not sure. I have to.
Could you turn yourself in on this Friday at 5 p.m.?
I don't know if I could do it Friday. I had a job to do on Friday.
Saturday morning at 8 a.m.?
I do like Sunday or something.
Judge, would that be acceptable, Sunday at 8 a.m.?
That's fine with me. What day is days of 12? That's 16? Yeah. So 10, 16, 8 a.m. Okay.
And Judge, this is his first DUI. We would ask for an affidavit of first conviction. How would he go about getting that from Your Honor?
I believe we have the paperwork.
Oh, I can forward, I do apologize. I can forward that to you.
Say it again. So, and he needs to turn in his license, Mr. Blevins.
Usually I think it's some courts, in Fulton State Court, the client just comes down and turns his license in and gets the actual affidavit at the same time. Is that acceptable?
That's acceptable. So if he wants to come and do that, we'll give him that paperwork. And I don't know if we have it in the chat yet or not, where he needs to report to probation.
Oh, it is in the chat.
Okay, it's in the chat where he needs to.
But I could give it to him as well when he comes down. So it's not.
Okay, did you hear that, Mr. Blake?
Yes, Judge. When he goes down, who does he need to see when he comes down? Is it Miss?
He needs to come down to the clerk's office, the 160 prior building.
Okay.
Suite J150.
Okay. All right. I'll have him go down there this today or tomorrow, Judge, and do that.
All right.
Okay, you can just ask for Ms. Strong when he comes down.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Judge Morrow, there's a chat message in there for you.
So that was position number 2 on the Orca e-bond plea calendar. Mr. Rosenblum, you witness.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor. I apologize for my tardiness. City of Atlanta is running a bit slow this morning. I thought I could get in and get out quickly, but it did not happen. I have spoken to the state on this case as well as my client. We're asking that it be transferred back to the trial division. We believe there's some motions and trial issues that need to be addressed on this case.
Okay. Mr. Rosenblum, as the announcement that I made at the start of the calendar is that these cases are not going to be transferred back to the division judge. They're going to remain with the Orca calendar, and we're going to hear all motions, and we're going to conduct our jury trials on the Orca calendar. So if you're requesting a jury trial, we will get you the formal request for a jury trial. We're now placing the cases on jury trial calendar for November 15th at 9 a.m.
What's the date, Your Honor?
November 15th.
Thank you, Your Honor. Will motions be heard prior to trial, or is that a separate hearing?
If you have any motions, are you going to file motions, Mr. Rosenblum?
I will file motions, yes, Your Honor.
So I'd rather put you on the motions calendar as opposed to a jury trial calendar if you're going to have motions. Do we know when the next motions calendar is?
26th of October. Other than that, that's all we have before November 15th.
So you kept the motions calendars in November.
November the 23rd, but it will be after the,
That's fine. If we're gonna, November 23rd, we'll place on our motions calendar by Mr. Rosen.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll be in touch with Ms. Story and get her if I believe I have motions. If the motions are not appropriate, then I'll advise the court and advise Ms. Story as soon as possible.
Okay, very good.
And that'd be 9 a.m.
Yes.
11:30.
No, it's 11:30.
11:30.
In
Virtual or?
In person.
They're in person.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. May both my client and I be excused?
Yes, have a good day.
Thank you.
Mr. Blevins, are you waiting for something?
I just want to make sure we're excused, Judge, me and Mr.
Oh, yes, you and Mr. Johnson are excused. You all have a good day.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Good morning, Ms. Marcia Story.
Good morning, Your Honor. Please accept my apologies. We had a family emergency at 2:00 in the morning, and I walked out without both my computer and my phone. So I do apologize. I made it back in time. It looks as though there may have been one calendar where a plea was taken.
Yes, we took a plea on position.
Position 7, Mr. Darrell Johnson.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad he made it in. Okay. All right. I am here now. Thank you, Ms. Sarita, for handling that for me.
Let me go on to position 1, Richard Klein. I have that paperwork ready to go. So
Thank you, Judge.
you're all ready with that one. And this is your case, Ms. Marshall Story, is that right?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. You ready to, and let's see. There's Mr. Klein.
He's on, Judge. I've seen him. There he is.
Here we go. Can you unmute yourself, Mr. Klein?
Yes.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court to the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you put your hand down? Thank you, sir. Ms. Marshall Story?
Yes, sir. After several conversations with attorney Jared Mitnick, the defendant has agreed to plead to the charge of DUI less safe, 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served, balance probated, $800 fine, 60 hours of community service, and he must also complete a DUI risk reduction class, 1 victim impact panel, along as alcohol, drug evaluation and treatment if necessary. And the state is willing to null process the remaining charges should this plea go through today.
And Judge, that's our understanding of the negotiation. Just wanted to find out the formalities of how Mr. Klein obtains his affidavit of first conviction in order to get his limited permit to drive. Is that something that probation will be able to send to him today so that he can get that permit?
Well, can we get them the paperwork today? Does he need to come down?
He has to come in because I would need the driver's license as well. The driver's license still has to be turned in.
Okay, so just as in the last case, Mr. Mitnick, if he wants to come down here, pick up the paperwork and turn in his license at the same time, then it can be accomplished that way.
Mr. Klein, do you still have your physical license or did the officer take it?
The officer took it.
Yeah, Judge, we would just need a lost license affidavit so that he would be able to then get the limited permit. So I would hope that that's something that can all be done virtually back and forth via email or fax, so that he doesn't need to find a way down there, because if his license is going to be suspended at the time of the plea, I don't know how he'd be able to drive down there to do the lost license.
Okay. Okay, we will get the paperwork to you, Mr.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything further before I take the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Klein, it's my understanding that in case 20 CR 006053F, you wish to plead guilty to DUI driving under the influence less safe. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at the present time?
No, sir.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on this charge, and that by pleading guilty to it, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
I do.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with your counsel's representation?
Yes, sir.
Anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
I'll accept the plea as negotiated. Mr. Klein, let's see, I am also going to waive the probation period while you're on probation. With those. And how you can contact probation is in the chat, okay?
Judge, one question. With this sentence, is Mr. Klein able to go on non-reporting status once he completes all the special conditions?
Ms. Marshall Story, do you have an objection?
I don't have any objection to that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Klein, when you complete the terms of the probation, it will go to a non-reporting status, okay?
Thank you very much, both of you.
Anything further, Mr. Mitnick?
Judge, I just wanted to make sure that my client knows how to contact probation. You said it was in the chat, but I don't see it, Judge.
Okay, I'm being told that it will be placed back in there, okay?
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Klein, stay on the Zoom until you get those instructions and give me a call if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, may I be excused?
Yes, have a good day.
Thank you as well.
All right, let's see. Let me go back to position 2 on the Orca A final plea calendar, Jesus Garcia.
Judge, I'm here on that case. That's a negotiated plea this morning.
Yeah. And what are we going to do with this today?
That's to be a negotiated plea, Judge, and we do need the assistance of the Spanish interpreter.
Okay, and we have an interpreter that's on the line this morning. Do we have that plea paperwork as of yet?
Yes, Judge, we sent it in.
I don't have anything from Mr. Garcia.
We don't have it here in the court. Is this your case, Ms. Marshall Story?
Yes, sir, it is.
Do you have the plea paperwork for this matter?
I thought I sent it in also. I'm looking back through my emails.
We emailed it to both Ms. Marshall Story and Ms. Redden on Monday.
Yes, and I believe I may have followed up, if anybody recalls, saying Ms. Redden was not available to make sure that it went to the right.
Ms. Marshall Story, can you forward it to Ms. Strong?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Even though it may be faster, I've got to forward it piece by piece. Is the defense attorney also able to send it?
Oh, no, I can. It did not come from my email. It was my
Oh,
coworker.
okay.
But actually, I think she forwarded it to me yesterday, just in case this happens. So let me see.
Okay, are you able to tell me the person that sent it so I can find it immediately?
It's Haley, but I can send it.
So I know it wasn't Miss Sperling, correct?
No, it was Haley Hudler, but I can send it in.
Haley Hudler, yes, of course.
What email address do I need to send it to?
I'll put it in chat.
It'll be in the chat, Mr. Gordon.
Oh, in the chat. Okay. Let's see if this works.
Okay, I'm forwarding it also. And it says, the email I received said that he would prefer Zoom over in person. So is he in the courtroom?
Yep, I'm here.
He's on the call.
Okay. All right. And I'm sending it to Miss Bolton or Miss
Ms. Strong.
Miss Strong. Okay.
Ms. Githia, did you get that paperwork? Oh, no, Madam Interpreter, did you get the paperwork for position 4, Rosado?
I received 2 documents, Your Honor, and I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
Just to make sure, one moment, please. One is the contractor's affidavit and agreement. And the second is another contractor affidavit and agreement.
And just so the record is clear on Mr. Garcia, I sent the paperwork to Miss Bolton, Miss Smith, and Miss Strong, and CC'd Miss James, and that was on Monday at 5:40. But I did just also send it again. So have you received that?
Are you talking to me, madam?
Oh, no, I was talking
Oh,
to the
thank you.
court and the litigation managers.
We have a lot of moving parts this morning, Ms. Marshall Stewart, so if you just give.
Clearly, I'm in no position to complain. So whatever is needed, I'm here to do now.
Thank you. And apparently you take that in, so. So Ms. Githia, tell me what the state's pleasure on this is. If you want to go into a breakout room to speak with the interpreter so she can read you, it doesn't look like there's a lot on these documents. And so I don't. How would you like to proceed on?
I'm saying there's not a lot on those documents. Given that this is a DUI offense, we didn't want, if we could possibly get a further reset and see if she. But from my interpretation, she was going to return to the US.
So it looks like it's just a document that's asks for medications, limitations, recommendations. So I'm happy to reset this. Let's reset it for November 9th.
What, what's the issue? I'm confused.
This isn't your case, Mr. Boyd.
Oh.
I'm trying to handle as much as I can handle while we're getting paperwork and trying to keep court moving, so I apologize. We're speaking on position number four, Ms. Rosado. So I'm going to reset Ms. Rosado for November 9th.
And I am trying to get, medical documentation from her medical provider.
Okay, and I don't know if there doesn't seem to be a lot on this this documentation that's given you. So I don't know if you're thinking that you're gonna receive something more than what's already been turned in.
Her ex was supposed to reach out to her mom and speak with the doctor to provide that information.
Okay. All right.
Mr.
Well, I'm trying to get Mr. Gordon's client's paperwork.
That's Mr. Cameron.
Now, this is for position one. This is Mr. McClendon's case. Do you have,
The only slip paperwork I have is Mr. Garcia and that one. And did I give you Mr. Smart?
yes,
Those are the only three that I have.
whose paperwork, Ms. Marshall Story, were you sending over?
It was for Jesus Hernandez Garcia.
Okay.
It still hasn't been received?
Yes, it has been received. So if you'll hold on that, I want to do position number one. We have a paperwork for Mr. McClendon's client. Are you ready on this, Mr. McClendon? Mr. Cabrone's case. Marco Cabrone. Mr. McClendon, are you ready?
Yes, Judge, we're ready.
Okay, and you need the interpreter, is that correct?
We do, and he's seated right behind me. I'll ask him to speak loudly so everyone can hear him.
Good morning, Mr. Cabrone. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Buenos días, señor Cabrera. ¿Puede levantar su mano derecha para mí, por favor?
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Señor, ¿usted jura que la declaración que dará para este tribunal será la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Sí.
I do.
You put your hand down, sir.
¿Puede bajar su mano, señor?
Ms. Marshall's story, and please take into account that we have the interpreter.
Okay, yes, sir, I will. I emailed Mr. Cabrone twice and asked him to send the paperwork to me. So I don't have his plea paperwork. I am going to trust that it is correctly signed with the information that I've provided once I read the plea.
Yo quiero informar que mandé por correo electrónico el papeleo al señor Cambrón 2 veces y no he recibido nada, pero confío en que el papeleo que tengo ante mí está correcto, correctamente firmado con la información relevante.
The sentence recommendation
La recomendación de la sentencia es la siguiente.
is on a DUI less safe.
Es por un cargo de manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol.
12 months to serve 24 hours in jail.
Son la sentencia de 12 meses para servir 24 horas en la cárcel.
He will receive credit for time served.
Recibirá crédito por tiempo servido.
The remaining balance should be served on probation.
Y lo que el resto de la sentencia debe cumplirse bajo probatorio.
He should also complete a DUI, driving while under the influence, risk reduction class.
Él también tiene que completar un curso o clase para el conocimiento de cómo reducir el riesgo en el manejo.
He should also complete 40 hours of community service.
También debe completar 40 horas de trabajo a favor de la comunidad.
And finally, he will need to complete, I'm sorry, there are two other items, an alcohol drug evaluation and receive treatment if that is deemed necessary.
También debe completar una evaluación de drogas y alcohol y someterse a tratamiento si se considera necesario.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Ms. Marshall, Story, I don't mean to interrupt you, but there's some discrepancy in the paperwork.
Yes, it should be 80 hours of community service. I said 40.
Okay.
Is that the discrepancy?
I also have a discrepancy in that what I have him pleading guilty to is just disorderly conduct on the plea and verdict form. So what I'm gonna need for you to do, Mr. McClendon, because I think that this is probably not correct. Do you have the plea paperwork, Mr. McClendon?
I have it somewhere, Your Honor.
You said disorderly conduct?
Hold on, Ms. Marshall Story. I know that yes, that's what is on here. That's why I'm gonna need for Mr. McClendon to get you this paperwork so that you can sign it and have the right charge on here.
Okay, if someone can forward me the paperwork, then I will review it and resend it.
Well, that's gonna have to come from Mr. McClendon because I know that this is what was. You understand what I'm saying, Mr. McClendon?
I do. I'll amend. We signed whatever we were given. I will, I should have paid attention to that. I apologize. I'll re-pull it and address all of the discrepancies and get it back to the court.
Okay.
I think it may be easier, Mr. McClendon, if I just redraft that sentence recommendation form and plea form, and I'll send it to you and send it to the court.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, that may move a little faster.
Okay. So we'll put this till the end of the calendar. Let's see. Ms. Marshall Story, I know that got a number of these this morning. I just want to see if I can move through them. I do have the paperwork for Jesus Garcia. Are we ready to take that plea?
If the interpreter needed on this case?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning again, Mr. Garcia. Can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Buenos días de nuevo, señor García. ¿Puede levantar su mano derecha?
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Jura decir la verdad ante este tribunal, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Sí.
I do.
You put your hand down, sir.
Puede bajar su mano, señor.
Ms. Marshall Story.
Yes, sir. Okay, Your Honor, the plea recommendation on this case is on a DUI. This is a per se, 12 months to serve 72 hours.
Esta es la siguiente recomendación para un cargo de manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol, 12 meses para servir, I'm sorry, to serve how
72 hours, a total of 3 days.
Para servir 72 horas, un total de 3 días.
He has served those 3 days, so he is receiving credit for the time that he has served. No additional hours in incarceration are needed.
Él ya ha servido esos 3 días de encarcelamiento, por eso se le dará crédito por ese tiempo servido y no se agregará ningún tiempo adicional.
After those 3 days have been taken into consideration, the remaining balance of probation the balance will be probated, meaning the remaining time will be spent on probation.
Después de esos 3 días, lo que queda del tiempo de cumplir la sentencia se deberá hacer bajo probatoria.
A $600 fine will need to be paid.
Se debe pagar una fianza de $600.
He must complete 240 hours of community service.
Él deberá cumplir 240 horas de trabajo a favor de la comunidad.
He will also need to complete a DUI, driving under the influence risk reduction program.
Él debe cumplir con un programa, someterse a un programa por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol y aprender a reducir el riesgo en el manejo.
He will also need to complete what's called an alcohol, drug, and evaluation. And if treatment is deemed necessary after that, he will need to complete the treatment.
Y también deberá someterse a una evaluación de drogas y alcohol y también a tratamiento si es necesario.
And the final requirement is one victim impact panel will also need to be completed.
Y también deberá tomar una clase sobre el impacto a la víctima.
Mr. Gordon?
Yes, Judge. That's my understanding of the terms.
Eso es lo que yo entiendo de los términos establecidos.
This is a first and 5, second and 10 DUI.
Este es un cargo recibido por primera vez.
My client has been very proactive in this case.
Y mi cliente ha sido muy proactivo en este caso.
He's completed all 240 hours of community service.
Ella ha cumplido con las 240 horas de trabajo a favor de la comunidad.
He's completed the victim impact panel.
Ha cumplido con la sesión del panel de impacto a la víctima.
He's completed the risk reduction course.
Y también el curso para reducir el riesgo en el manejo.
And he's had his alcohol and drug evaluation complete.
Y también ha completado y se ha sometido a una evaluación de drogas y alcohol.
Now, there was treatment recommended, so he understands he is going to need to complete that treatment.
Pero se recomendó tratamiento para él y entiendo que deberá cumplirlo.
But this really has been a learning experience for him, and I think the treatment is going to set him on the right track.
Pero esta ha sido una experiencia impactante para él y creo que el tratamiento lo pondrá de nuevo en el buen camino.
And we also have provided an insurance letter to show that all parties involved in the accident.
Y también hemos presentado comprobantes de seguro y donde están presentes todos los nombres de las partes que formaron en este caso.
My client is licensed out of Illinois.
Mi cliente tiene licencia del estado de Illinois.
His license was confiscated when he was arrested, and he has not been able to obtain a new license since then.
Su licencia se confiscó el día del accidente y no ha podido volver a obtener una.
So we do not have a license to turn in, but we are requesting an affidavit of first conviction.
Nosotros estamos pidiendo una affidavit de convicción primaria debido a esto.
Although we don't know what effect, if any, that will have.
I'm sorry, sir, what effective?
Although we don't know what effect a certificate of first conviction will have in Illinois.
Pero no sabemos qué efecto o qué resultado puede dar la presentación de ese affidavit en el estado de Illinois.
But based on my client completing all of those terms ahead of time, we are asking that the court accept this plea.
Por eso, por estos motivos relatados, le pedimos a su señoría que acepte estas condiciones.
I didn't understand that last request, Mr. Gordon.
The last request was just that the court accept the plea.
Okay. And is there any objection to it going non-reporting on this Marshall story when he completes the terms?
No, Your Honor, no objection. The defendant has really made an effort to try and take care of these sentencing requirements, and the state has no objection to that at all.
El juez preguntó que si hay algo más que se requiere de este acusado ya una vez completando todos los términos y plazos impuestos, y la representante de la fiscalía contestó que no, debido a que él ya ha cumplido con todo, casi todo, no hay objeción para que este caso se cierre.
Okay, Ms. Marshall Story, we don't have an all process, so get those to us.
Yes, Your Honor. I generally do not send those until after court. I don't think anybody's had a concern with receiving the null processes, but I would like to make sure the plea is properly tendered so that nothing gets null processed, and then we have an issue with the plea. But I'll send those directly after court.
Okay, and what was the other issue?
If following too closely says it's a $300 fine.
And I'm told that the following too close says that there's a $300 fine.
I'm fine with waiving that, Your Honor, if it's not on the plea paperwork.
And I have no objection, obviously, but that was our understanding, and we did inform the client of that.
Yes, we did discuss that, I will say, but if I did not put it on the paperwork, then I will waive that. Is it not on the paperwork? Or did I just not say it?
There's a $600 fine and a $300 fine. A $300 fine follows the following too closely charge.
Okay.
So you all want to eliminate the following too closely $300 fine? Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I'm willing to do, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Gordon, is that, I tell you, that's okay with you.
I don't have any objection, Judge.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that off the Senate sheet.
So she's not crossing the following too closely as well.
And the following too closely will be null process as well, as my understanding.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just to be clear, thank you. Anything further before I take the plea from counsel?
Nothing from the defense.
Mr. Hernandez Garcia, it's my understanding that in case 21 CR 000548F.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, could you please repeat the number you got cut off?
Yes, 21 CR 000548F. You wish to plead guilty to driving under the influence.
Señor Hernández García, yo entiendo que en el caso 21 CR 000548F, usted quiere declararse culpable por manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol.
Sí.
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at the present time?
En este momento, ¿está usted bajo la influencia de alguna droga o alcohol?
No.
No.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with your counsel's representation?
Usted ha estado representado por un abogado. ¿Está satisfecho con los servicios de su abogado?
Sí.
Yes.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on this charge, and that by pleading guilty to it, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
¿Entiende usted que usted tiene el derecho de llevar a juicio este caso ante un jurado, pero al tomar esta declaración usted renuncia, quiere decir no va a usar ese derecho constitucional de ir a juicio, ¿entiende?
Sí, entiendo.
I understand.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
¿Hay alguien que lo haya forzado o coaccionado para que usted se declare culpable?
No.
No.
I will accept the plea as negotiated.
Yo acepto la declaración suya como ha sido negociada.
I'm going to waive the probation fees for you while you're on probation.
Yo voy a cancelar las tarifas de probatoria mientras usted se mantenga en probatoria.
With the terms of the probation, it'll go to a non-reporting status.
Y también no tendrá que presentarse ante la oficina de registro probatorio.
Anything further on Mr. Hernandez Garcia this morning?
¿Algo más sobre el caso del señor Hernández García?
We will give him the affidavit of first conviction, Mr. Gordon. And it's in the chat where he needs to report for probation.
Nosotros vamos a otorgar este affidavit de convicción primaria y la encontrará en el área del chat de esta plataforma.
And I see that, Judge. When does he need to report by?
¿Cuándo se tiene que presentar? Ya la encontré.
General is in the next 48 hours.
En las próximas 48 horas.
Perfect. Thank you, Judge.
Perfecto, gracias, su señoría.
Anything further this morning?
¿Algo más?
No, Judge.
No, su señoría.
You all have a good day. Thank you.
Que tengan un buen día, gracias.
Yeah.
Let's see, Ms. Marshall's story. Mr. Gunter was holding, he's on the Zoom also. What are we doing with this case?
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was Mr. Gunter that you all said you took the plea on. Mr. Gunter, you may not recall, Your Honor, because I believe that it was, you were not sitting on the bench that day, but Mr. Gunter agreed to a plea pro se. I was able to forward him his paperwork. He diligently sent it back to me. However, he missed his court date. And so the judge at the time was willing to allow him one more court date. I did not send him the one affidavit regarding him waiving his right to counsel. I forwarded it to him yesterday. He immediately sent it back to me, and he's now in, I believe, in the car on Zoom. But ready to take the plea. So because he had taken such extraordinary steps in order to do the plea paperwork, a bench warrant was not issued, and I see he's now here to accept the plea.
Can't print this plea paperwork because it's a picture.
Yeah, that may be the problem, is that I think he did the best that he could. So he may end up having to come into court to sign it anyway. And I was prepared for that if needed to be.
Mr. Gunter, we can't print your paperwork. We appreciate all that you've done on this matter. If I reset you to another date, could you come in to the court to take your plea in this matter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why don't we do that? I think that might be the easiest thing to do. And I'm not going to set you out. Are you able to appear next Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we do that? Why don't we have, if that's all right with you, Ms. Marshall's story, we'll have it.
Sure, that's fine. And I'll just send the paperwork directly to the litigation manager so he can sign everything in court.
Okay.
And
So
to whom should I send that?
to Ms. Strong.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna reset. The 10/19 at 9 a.m. All right, so Mr. Gunter, I'll see you. We're in court room G33. It's in the state court building on Prior Street. Okay.
Okay.
And you might want to try to get here before 9 because you may have, as people do from time to time, have a difficult time finding this courtroom. So if you'll just take that into account that, and we're on the ground floor of the Prior Street, okay?
Okay, no problem.
All right, very good. We'll see you on next Wednesday.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And I know, Ms. Marshall's story that you haven't had an opportunity to do the paperwork for Mr. McClendon. I do have another plea that I believe is yours for Mr. Smiley, who is pro se.
Actually, I believe Ms. Skithia is.
Yes,
that's mine, Your Honor.
Smiley. And Your Honor, I simply forwarded the paperwork to the court and to Mr. McClendon that I forwarded to him. I did not need to redo any of the paperwork.
Okay, all right.
I fixed it, Your Honor. It still said disorderly conduct, but I changed it to DUI less safe.
Okay. And did someone send that over to us?
I did. I sent it to Casey Strong and Miss Marcia Story about 2 minutes ago.
You received that, Mr.
No, sir. Not yet.
We haven't received that yet, so we'll hold on that one. Let me go to Mr. Gunter, you're free to go unless you have any.
Okay, thank you.
All right, have a good day, sir.
All right, thank you.
Let's see, Mr. Smiley, are you with me? This is position 6 on the Orca A.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, it's my understanding that that you are pleading guilty to simple battery and disorderly conduct today.
Yes, sir.
Understand that you have a right to have an attorney represent you in this matter, and you also have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. It's my understanding that you wish to proceed today without the assistance of the law. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You put your hand down. Thank you, Mr. Smiley. Ms. Githia.
Yes, Your Honor. The state expects the evidence to show that on March 30th, 2019, officers were dispatched to 1259 East Washington Avenue in East Point, Fulton County, in reference to a fight call. The officers observed Mr. Alan Smiley wrestling with the victim, Miss Latrice Seaborn, in the front yard of the apartments, and Miss Seaborn was screaming, "Help, get off of me." The offer is 12 months probation, 8 anger management classes, alcohol drug evaluation and treatment, 40 hours of community service, and no further violent contact with Latrice Seaborn.
Is that your understanding of the terms?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you would like to go forward with the guilty pleas, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have been charged in case 21 CR 000612F with simple battery and disorderly conduct. It's my understanding that you wish to plead guilty to those two charges. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at the present time?
No, sir.
You've been given the opportunity to have a lawyer represent you, and you are proceeding pro se without the assistance of a lawyer. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You received the guilty plea form. Did you go through that form line by line?
Yes, sir.
And did you sign that form?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on these charges, and not by pleading guilty to them, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
No.
Do you understand that if you're currently on probation, that your probation can be revoked because of this plea?
Yes, sir. But I just took a plea last week for probation.
Okay, well, you understand that because of this plea, that can affect if you're on probation on that charge. I don't know whether it will or not, but
I mean, it was the case was before. I don't.
Say it again, sir.
So they can revoke the other one.
If you were currently on probation, there's a possibility that could be revoked.
I mean, I just took the plea last week.
Okay, well, again, that's not something that I can advise you on, but that might be something that you want to look into before you complete taking this plea. What did you take a plea on last week?
It was obstruction. It was with you last week.
It was with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you all have any knowledge? I don't remember.
I'm looking it up now, Your Honor. It was a plea last week.
Why wouldn't we have done all this at one time?
I don't know how they got on 2 separate calendars, Your Honor.
Have you already reported to probation, Mr. Smiley?
Oh, sir, I was waiting up to see what was going on.
His Honor, he took a plea on, this is my case, Orca C, final plea, October 5th. I had no knowledge of the second case, because, what is this, Orca A? Is this Orca A? Yeah, I guess she got a different list. So it's possible that it could have been separated. My apologies for that.
Well, I just don't want this man to be affected. You know, he's just getting on probation right now. He's taking this plea. You know, if we had known this last week, we could have done all this together. But now, Mr. Smalley, I'm and I'm sorry, tell me again what he took a plea to last week.
Took a plea to obstruction, 2 counts of obstruction. You want to know the disposition, Your Honor?
And you're telling me, Mr. Smiley, that you've not already reported to probation on the plea you took last week?
Yes, I thought when they had got the text, they said that they would contact me in a week.
Okay. All right, so when you do contact probation, since you're going to go to probation on all of these charges, if you will present all the charges at one time, go to probation for all the charges at one time, and they should be treated as one. Okay. Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty in this matter?
No, sir.
I'm going to accept the plea as negotiated. Mr. Smiley, I'm going to waive the probation fees for you while you're on probation to help you get and stay on your feet. And when you complete the terms of the probation, it'll go to a non-reporting status, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I can't hear you.
I said, for this case that he took obstruction, we have suspended probation, suspended. Or just go now for it.
Okay, no, we're going to go non-reporting on this.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, any questions, Mr. Smiley? You still with me? Mr. Smiley, can you hear me? Mr. Smiley, you back with me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now. In the chat is where you need to go for probation, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna need for you to go and do that as soon as possible so that you can get registered with them with all these charges, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right. You have a good day, sir.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Respectfully, may I be placed in a breakout room with the family member of the victim in the homicide by vehicle case before we tender that plea?
Yes, gotcha. If you'll tell me who that is.
Yes, that's Miss Kelsey Oliver. And also myself, Miss Kelsey Oliver, myself, and the victim advocate, Miss Clemens. Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. Gotcha. So if you all place this gotcha into a breakout room.
Donna, could you ask Mr. Smiley, did he receive my email for the probation or contact form from last week? I had emailed it to him.
He's gone. Yes. All right, can we get Ms. McCutcheon placed in a breakout room, please? And Mr. Smiley, I see that you're back. Can you hear me, Mr. Smiley?
I can hear you.
Okay, Ms. Bolton wanted me to ask you if you received her email last week.
Yes, sir. I got it. That's why I thought they said a week.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. And I don't see the probation thing in the chat box. I just looked.
Okay, can we place probation information back in the chat? Did you email him that, Ms. Bolton, also?
I emailed him the probationary contract form on the on the 5th.
Okay.
So that's the paper that she emailed me. I got it.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
I need him to complete it and send it back to me.
Okay, she needs for you to complete that and send it back.
Okay, I'll get it done.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, back to Mr. Marco Cambrian.
Yes, Judge.
1st of December. And good morning, Ms. Garrison. I know you have some issues, or are you still experiencing some issues with being able to hear the court?
No, it seems a little better now. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. All right. I do have the paperwork. It does indicate DUI less safe. It's signed. Did we have any questions, Mr. McClendon, regarding the what the state has offered and what your client is accepting?
No, Your Honor. We discussed it appropriately between us. It was just the issue with the paperwork, so we're all on the same page.
¿Hay alguna pregunta acerca de la negociación? El licenciado contestó que no, que ya se había discutido entre ustedes y que está de acuerdo.
Sure. Do you all want me to start from the top, or are you satisfied with continuing with where we left off?
¿Quiere empezar del principio o de dónde dejamos?
We're comfortable picking up where we left off, Judge.
¿De dónde dejamos?
Any further Ms. Marshall's story regarding the state's position?
No, I don't believe so, Your Honor. I'll just make sure that I do just reread that plea offer into the record. So that is crystal clear, 12 months to serve, 24 hours.
Voy a mejor leer la sentencia propuesta para que quede todo aclarado. I'm sorry, did you say something about 24 hours, madam?
Yes, to serve 24 hours, which he has done.
Queda por una sentencia de 12 meses a servir 24 horas, lo que el acusado ya lo ha hecho.
Credit for the time that he did serve in jail.
Y se le da crédito por el día que sirvió en la cárcel.
The remaining balance of those 12 months will be served on probation.
Y lo que queda de cumplir de la sentencia será bajo probatorio.
He must complete an alcohol drug evaluation and receive treatment if necessary.
Él debe cumplir o someterse a una evaluación de drogas y alcohol y someterse a tratamiento si es necesario.
He must also complete a driving under the influence risk reduction course through the Department of Driver Services.
Y también él debe cumplir un curso para la reducción de riesgo en el manejo a través de los servicios de transporte.
Complete 80 hours of community service.
Cumplir con 80 horas a favor de la comunidad.
A $300 fine.
$300 de multa.
One victim impact panel.
Y presentarse en una sesión de impacto a la víctima.
And probation may do random testing to ensure that no drugs or alcohol are in his system while he is on probation.
Entonces, también el La oficina de registro probatorio deberá hacer exámenes al azar para asegurarse que ninguna droga esté presente dentro de su sistema durante el periodo probatorio.
I will null process the remaining charges, and I have sent that null process to the litigation managers.
No voy a procesar el resto de los cargos y he enviado esa confirmación a los administradores de litigios.
Mr. McClendon?
We just respectfully ask that you accept the plea as negotiated.
Con todo respeto, su señoría, pedimos que se acepte este convenio declaratorio.
Is there any objection to probation going non-reporting once he completes the terms, Ms. Marshall Story?
¿Hay alguna objeción de parte de la Fiscalía que no necesite el acusado presentarse ante probatorio una vez que se haya cumplido esta sentencia? La respuesta fue no.
No, Your Honor, I have no objection to that.
No, no tengo objeción.
Mr. Cambrian, we have already placed you under oath. It's my understanding that in case 20 CR 003788Y, you wish to plead guilty to driving under the influence, let's say. Is that correct?
Señor Cambrón, usted ya ha sido juramentado y entiendo que en el caso 20 CR 003788Y, usted quiere declararse culpable. ¿Es eso correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at the present time?
En el momento aquí presente, ¿está bajo la influencia de drogas o alcohol?
No.
No.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with your counsel's representation?
Usted está siendo representado por un licenciado. ¿Está satisfecho usted con sus servicios?
Sí.
Yes.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on this charge, and that by pleading guilty to it, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Usted entiende que tiene el derecho constitucional de llevar su caso a juicio ante un jurado, pero al tomar esta declaración, usted está renunciando o no usando ese derecho, ¿comprende?
Sí.
Yes.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
¿Hay alguien que lo haya forzado o coaccionado para que usted se declare culpable?
No.
No.
I will accept the plea as negotiated. I am going to waive the probation fees for you while you're on probation. And when you complete the terms, it'll go to a non-reporting status.
Señor, yo acepto su negociación y cancelo todas las tarifas de probatoria. Y cuando usted termine de cumplir con todos los términos y plazos de probatoria y el periodo probatorio, este caso no va a necesitar usted, perdón, cuando termine con todas las multas y términos, no va a necesitar presentarse ante el oficial de probatoria por este caso bajo el cargo de manejar incapacitado por el alcohol.
Further, Mr. McClendon?
¿Algo más, señor McClendon?
No, Your Honor. Is there a specific date where he must report to probation by?
¿Hay alguna fecha específica en la que él tiene que presentarse en probatoria?
He should report in the next week, and I believe where he needs to report should be in the chat.
Él debe presentarse en la próxima semana y el domicilio está en el área de chat en la plataforma.
I have it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Ya la tengo.
You all have a good day.
Que tengan un buen día.
Do we have anyone else that needs Madam Interpreter this morning? Thank you so much. We appreciate your help today.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Okay. And I'm ready on Mr. Smith. Council's ready. Well, are we ready on this? Do we have paperwork?
Your Honor, if Mr. Kenner is on, there's one page of the plea paperwork that needs to be signed. Mr. Kenner, are you on?
I am. I was trying to locate that.
It's
Is
page
which,
2 with the original paperwork. I just resent my original email. It's page 2 that where the defendant has to sign acknowledging that the plea is being tendered freely and voluntarily.
all right, let me check on that. Your Honor, if you can just give me a second, please. I'm sorry.
And Your Honor, I expect that we will have at least one, perhaps two family members. Miss Kelsey Oliver should be on, as well as who is a cousin of the victim, as well as another cousin who may be getting on the Zoom.
And Your Honor, I sent, I believe, Ms. Strong an email with the paperwork, and I asked if we can have a quick pretrial with the court. There's just one issue that the state and I have not been able to resolve.
Okay, can we do that now?
The state's fine with that, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. You can just put us in breakout.
Okay, so myself, Ms. McCutcheon, and Mr. Kenner.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so if you'll put us in a breakout, please.
Hello, excuse me?
Who's speaking on the iPhone?
Okay, let's see. Mr. Kennett's gonna talk to his client. And do you need, is your client with you, Mr. Kennett, or do you need a breakout room? How do you?
No, I just need to, I can call him. He's
Okay.
on, but I'll call him and then, but I need to get that other page.
Okay.
I need to just get that so we can sign it.
It was emailed.
Okay, I'll get it now. If
Okay,
you can
so-
give me about 10 minutes, Your Honor.
Okay, you're fine, Mr. Kennett. While he does that, if you all, I believe that will complete the 9 o'clock calendars. If you want to go over those calendars.
Can you hear me? Yes. Yes. Can you all hear me? Oh, okay. This is the Orca E final plea calendar. Position number 1 was a negotiated plea. Position number 2 was reset for November 23rd at 11:30 a.m. for motions. Position number 3 was null cross. Position number 4 was reset for November the 9th. Position number 5 was also reset for November the 9th. On the Orca A final plea calendar, position number 1 and 2 were negotiated plea. Position number 3 was reset.
I'm sorry, since these are numbered out of order, can you say the name? I do apologize.
Sure, for, you need just for A, or did you need me to go back to E?
Oh, just for A, because the numbering is out of order.
Okay, position number 1 is Richard Klein. That was a negotiated plea. The next one is Jesus Hernandez Garcia. That was a negotiated plea. Daryl Gunter was reset for October the 9th to come in person to take his plea and to fill out the paperwork.
I'm sorry, you said October the 9th?
19th, excuse me.
19th, okay.
Position number 4, Daryl Johnson was a negotiated plea. Position number 5, Richard Matthews was reset for November the 2nd. Position number 6, Alan Smiley was a negotiated plea. And position number 7, Alante Waters was reset for November the 15th for a jury trial.
Okay, so we are holding on Carl Smith's case. Those of you all that would like to remain, you're welcome to do so. For those of you all that want to be dismissed, you're free to go.
Good morning. I'm sorry, Judge Morrow. I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
I was just saying, Ms. Riley, that the only case that we have left is Mr. Carl Smith's case. We're holding to see what's going to happen in that case. That might be a plea. If you want to remain this morning for that, you're welcome to remain. If you all have something else that you'd rather do. Here we go.
Well, Your Honor, if you don't mind, I just had a few questions regarding the statement that you made earlier regarding the jury trials. And I don't know if this would be for you or Ms. James. Does that start today moving forward? Or are the cases that previously were sent back to the divisions from Orca coming back to Orca to be tried?
No, Ms. Riley, the cases aren't coming back. The cases that went to the division are staying with the division.
Okay.
However, I was informed, of course, I was out last week, but effective last week, any cases and moving forward with today as well, any cases that requested jury trials last week did not go back to the division, and they will not go back to the division after this date.
Okay, so our cases last week, even though the defendants were told they were going back to the division, they're going to stay with Orca. Is that correct?
Ms. James?
I'm sorry. Yes, that was my understanding, Ms. Riley, that those cases, the litigation managers were informed, but unfortunately the JOs were not informed until yesterday.
Okay. And also, will the Wednesday and Thursday calendars continue in addition to the jury? Because I heard.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
It's my understanding, Ms. Riley, that the jury trials are going to occur in G40 and
Yes, Your Honor, on Thursday, they're gonna start calendar call on Tuesday, and then the cases will be set forth for jury trial Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that's the 15th, 16th, and 17th, and then the last week of November. But I'm assuming that additional information will be sent out for everyone.
Okay. Well, Ms. James, I guess I'm trying to understand because starting this Thursday, we have new Orca calendars at both 9
Correct.
and 1:30. So my question is, are we also going to have those calendars in November or will those stop?
What I did was I explained to them when I was told that I explained that we have resets that are gonna be occurring in November because of the calendars that we currently have.
Okay.
And so I was told that it's probably going to be G40. And I'll just have to make some arrangements. They might come up with another courtroom. I'm not sure, but I have to get these notices out for these jury trials out by Monday. So right now I'm being told, go ahead.
Okay, those calendars are occurring in G40. already.
Correct, absolutely. And this is what I expressed to them. So I'm waiting for them to give me some additional information because we can't undo what's already done.
And Ms. James, if I can just ask, respectfully, Your Honor, so what I guess what we're really trying to find out for our office, for the state. So will we continue to have, in addition to the jury trials, the calendar call on Tuesday and the trials on Wednesday and Thursday, will we continue to have our regular Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday Orca calendars, which include, status, final plea? Will we still have those?
Correct, because those will occur in G33. It's still up in the air. Like Ms. Riley is bringing up about G40, I brought that up as well. And I will have more information for you all after today.
And do you anticipate, last question, Ms. James and Your Honor, do you anticipate that the trial calendars will they run for a week? Will they run for 2 weeks, every month? Do you have any information in that regard?
We are anticipating that the trial calendars will run the 3rd week and 5th week of November, but it's still really new, Ms. McCutcheon. So I'm going to have to confer with our administrator who's currently out and then get that information back to you all. But I wanted to make sure that this week the court knew that these cases will be maintained since it was not expressed last week and I was not here.
All
So
right.
my apologies. I'll get as much information as I can to you all.
Thank you. We appreciate that, Ms. James. Thank you.
And I apologize. I just had one other question.
Go ahead.
Is there a cap on the calendars?
Yes, there must be a cap on the calendars. Yes.
On the trial calendars.
Yes, ma'am. The number that I was given was, I don't even want to say the number that I was given, but it will not be that particular number. We'll talk offline.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
it wasn't expressed last week because I didn't know last week, so.
Absolutely, Your Honor. That's why I said they told the litigation managers, but I made sure that they sent something out to you all because yesterday was my first day back. So, yeah.
And will it be the 4 judicial officers presiding over the jury trials, or are there magistrate judges that will be presiding?
It's my understanding that the November calendars will be, and Judge Morrow, please correct me if I'm wrong, you will be handling the jury trial calendars in November. Did they express anything to you?
No.
Okay.
Not.
Okay, all right.
I assume that it will either be myself or Judge Lowell.
Right.
Or a senior judge.
That's what I was told, but I just need to confirm that.
Okay. Thank you for the time.
No problem.
All right, no other questions. Will be in recess until Mr. Kenner comes back.
Right. Thank you, Your Honor. And Ms. Oliver, please do not leave. We're in recess. Thank you.
Erica.
Mr. Kenner, if you're still on, did you receive page 2? Mr. Kenner, are you still there?
Yes, Ms. McCutcheon, did you receive it?
Let me check. Oh, okay, let me check. Okay.
All right. Because he's sending it to me in a, he's scanning it, but it's coming across as a JPEG, and I've got to convert it to a PDF, and that's what's taking that's the problem. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I received it. So is this ready for me to forward?
Okay, so we're good,
Okay.
right?
All right, let me forward this to the litigation manager, Ms. Strong. Yes.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Can you forward it to Ms. Bolton?
Ms. McCutcheon, can you forward it to Ms. Bolton, please?
Oh, yes, I will. Ms. Strong, I apologize. I think I forwarded the original paperwork to you. Do I need to resend that again to Ms. Bolton?
No, ma'am, I sent it to her.
Okay, thank you. I'm sending page 2 now.
Oh, okay.
I'm just missing page 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was.
Just a second, and then the no process.
I apologize, litigation managers. I'm so accustomed to each judge having one litigation manager. And so I usually, whichever name I see at the beginning of the calendar, I just assume that's the person for all the calendars, and I forget that you all have different calendars. I apologize.
No, it's fine. And also the no cross orders, you're gonna send that after?
Yes, I will send that once the plea has been tendered.
Okay, thank you.
And those, okay.
I received it. Thank you.
Mhm.
I have 2 pages, and I don't know if you're seeing everything.
I'm sorry, what was that?
All the pages have NOLO circled as opposed to.
You can remove that, Your Honor. You have my permission.
Okay.
Nova, no, you need to be still. Come on, that's enough. Up and up.
We actually sent that prior to, so I apologize.
No, you're fine. Okay, are we ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, the state is ready.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want to make certain that I have, is Miss Oliver on? Miss Kelsey Oliver, are you on the Zoom?
I am here.
All right, thank you. The state is ready, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning again, Mr. Smith. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Put your hand down. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Ms. McCutcheon.
Yes, Your Honor, this is the state versus Carl Anthony Smith, accusation number 20CR006187A. The defendant's charged in count 1 with homicide by vehicle in the 2nd degree, count 2, failure to maintain lane, count 3, improper lane change, count 4, too fast for conditions, and count 5, defective tires. And I apologize, Your Honor, is there a court reporter on?
I believe Ms. Garrison's on.
Okay, Ms. Garrison, thank you.
Yes.
Judge, the state is on a plea of guilty. The state would oppose a no contest plea in this case. The state on a plea of guilty to the charges, the state would be willing to recommend the following recommendation to the court. On a plea of guilty to homicide by vehicle, the state would recommend that the defendant be sentenced to 12 months probation, that while on probation, that he would complete 240 hours of community service. He would pay a fine in the amount of $1,000. He would complete 2 victim impact panels. He would complete a defensive driving class, and his driver's license would be suspended, and he would be served notice of that suspension by the court. On a plea of guilty to failure to maintain lane by operation of law, that sentence would be vacated because those elements would merge with the homicide by vehicle. The failure to maintain lane is the underlying traffic violation enumerated in count 1, homicide by vehicle. On a plea of guilty to counts 1 and 2, the state would null pros count 3, the improper lane change, which by operation of law would have merged. As to count 4, on a plea of guilty to 2 fast for conditions, the state would recommend 12 months probation. That probation run consecutive to any sentence imposed in count 1, and that the defendant pay a fine in the amount of $500. As to count 5, the defective tires, the state would move to null pros that, as that is one of the elements enumerated in count 4, the 2 fast for conditions. The state would recommend to the court that this sentence remain, the defendant spend the entirety of the sentence on probation, and that the probation not terminate prior to the expiration of the 24 months. Judge, had this case gone to trial, the state would expect the evidence to show as follows. On or about the incident date of May the 18th of 2020, in Fulton County on I-75-85 southbound near the intersection of Fulton Street, the defendant was driving his vehicle, a Dodge Ram vehicle. There was precipitation on the roadway. The defendant was driving in excess of the posted 55-mile-per-hour speed limit. The defendant improperly changed from out of his lane of travel. He was traveling in lane number 2, which was the second lane over from the median wall. He left his lane of travel, not driving completely within his lane of travel, struck the vehicle that was in lane number 1, adjacent to the median wall, that was driven by the driver, Mr. Lloyd Acano, and the passenger who occupied that vehicle is our deceased victim, Ms. Stevie Bryant. The defendant's vehicle struck after failing to maintain his lane, struck the vehicle Ms. Bryant occupied, causing that vehicle to turn counterclockwise in the roadway, striking the median wall. Ms. Bryant died as a result of that collision. The defendant, there are 2 witnesses, had the case gone to trial, that the state would expect would have testified that they observed the defendant driving in excess of the speed limit, and that he overtook and passed their vehicles prior to colliding with the vehicle that the victim, Ms. Bryant, occupied. Georgia State Patrol troopers who are members of the SCRT, SCRTC, Specialized Collision Reconstruction Team, Troopers Robillard, Lee, and Price were involved in this investigation, thoroughly investigated the scene. They did mapping of the scene using the accident reconstruction equipment, both on the night of the incident plus on the following day. They interviewed the witnesses. They obtained a search warrant to obtain the airbag crash module so they could look at the data from both the vehicle that Mr. Lloyd Acano was driving and that our victim occupied, as well as the defendant's vehicle. The airbag crash module data was unable to be retrieved from the defendant's vehicle, so the troopers were unable to determine the speed other than what what the witnesses testified who observed the collision when the defendant struck the car the victim occupied. They were, however, able to obtain the speed limit from the airbag crash module data of the vehicle that the victim occupied, and the driver of that vehicle was traveling, according to the data, at 57 miles per hour at the time of the collision. Contemporaneous, approximately 5 seconds before the collision, his speed limit was 57 miles per hour. The speed limit on 75-85 at the Fulton Street exit is 55 miles per hour. And was so on the date of this incident. Based on their investigation, the SCRT team determined that the defendant was driving too fast with conditions, also corroborated by the defendant's voluntary statement to officers when he admitted that he was driving between 60 and 65 miles per hour as he rounded that curve, also corroborated by the 2 witnesses who the state would expect would have testified to that as well as at trial. The defendant was charged with homicide by vehicle in the 2nd degree, failure to maintain lane, improper lane change, too fast for conditions based on the defective tires, the roadway conditions being wet, and a motorist in the adjacent travel lane. The Fulton County Medical Examiner performed the autopsy on the deceased victim's body and concluded that her manner of death was accident as a result of this collision, and that the cause of death was blunt force trauma. The victim sustained multiple fractures to her pelvis and femur, as well as sustained fatal internal injuries as a result to include lacerations of her liver and spleen as a result of this collision. That is the factual basis, and I think I did say this occurred in Fulton County, Your Honor. We would like to ask the court's permission to have a family member of Ms. Bryant speak. Ms. Kelsey Oliver is on. She is the cousin, it's my understanding, of Ms. Bryant, and I will make the court aware that the grandmother of Ms. Bryant, who actually adopted and raised her, is unable to appear today. She does not have the technology that would allow her to participate in this Zoom proceeding. So Ms. Oliver, if you would please, if you have anything you would like to say to the court regarding the state's recommendation and also regarding the state's opposition to the court accepting a no contest plea in this case. You may speak, ma'am. This court would have to swear you in.
Yes, good morning. So Daily Oliver, my sister, is actually going to be the one speaking this morning, and she'll come on now.
Okay. And Ms. Oliver, if you're going to speak to the court, please turn on your video as well as your sister, is your sister Daily Oliver. She is also a cousin of Ms. Bryant.
Yes, she is.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, hello?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Would you turn on your camera, please, if you're speaking? Ms.
Yes.
Oliver, I realize that from my earlier conversation with you, you're actually at work. You're a healthcare professional, so you're actually at the hospital. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you're not going to speak, but your sister, Miss Daly Oliver, if you would please turn on your camera, Miss Oliver.
Yes, all right.
So that you can address the court. Okay.
All right.
Good morning, Ms. Oliver. Can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes,
Can you raise your right, can you hear me?
yes, I can. My name is Daily Oliver, and
Right,
I
well,
am the
so if you
cousin.
can hear me, my question was, please raise your right hand.
Oh.
Okay. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down there. What would you like to tell the court?
My name is Daily Oliver, and I'm the cousin. I'm the cousin of Stevie Bryant. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of my family. Bear with me. As this is very difficult. Stevie was a huge part of my family, and we still are working through our grieving process. Stevie was a phenomenal woman, mother, daughter, and friend with her whole life ahead of her. We loved her, and our family is forever changed. We can never get her back because of the reckless driving. He doesn't deserve the opportunity to do this to another family. Stevie lost her life that day, and her daughter lost her mother. And we lost our sister, loved one, and friend. He should lose his license from that day forward. That is a small sacrifice compared to the sacrifices we've made. He has never apologized to our family and acts like it didn't even happen. He doesn't even mention her name. She was young. She had her whole life ahead of her. Rosie, her daughter, is mentally and emotionally scarred. Her mother was everything to her. Every single day they spent together, and our daughter is still learning how to cope with that today. My son, who is now 9 months old, will never know who Stevie is, and Stevie will never know my son. He doesn't deserve to be back on the roads. He does not deserve the chance to have this happen to another family. I mean, he's guilty and it's not up for debate. There is clear evidence. And I just want him to not be able to do this to another family. We are still in pain today and we'll never be the same again. We're forever broken. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
All right, thank you, Ms. Oliver. We're sorry for your loss, ma'am, and the loss of the family.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if I can just inquire, Ms. Kelsey Oliver, did you wish to say anything?
No, ma'am. I think she did a great job of getting our point across. Thank you, though.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further, Ms. McCutcheon?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor. Other than, Judge, if I just might add that on the date of this incident, the only collision that occurred on the roadway at that time that resulted in the death of Ms. Bryant was the collision that occurred when the defendant struck the vehicle that she occupied.
Mr. Kenner?
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to be clear that, Ms. McCutcheon, that you did say that counts 3 and 5 were null pros because you start off by saying as a plea of guilty. So I just want to make sure that that's not confusing to the court.
Okay, and so I can perfect the record on a plea of guilty to count 1, homicide by vehicle in the 2nd degree, on a plea of guilty to count 2, failure to maintain lane, and on a plea of guilty to count 4, too fast for condition. The state makes the recommendation that was previously proffered to the court, and the state would move to null pros count 3, the improper lane change, and count 5, the defective tires, which the elements of those merge into the other counts that are listed in this accusation.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, as the court is aware, the state and myself have gone through an exhaustive negotiation process, and on behalf of my client, Mr. Smith, we recognize that this family has lost a loved one. This is not easy for my client as well. This is difficult for both sides. My client is remorseful. He has not had an opportunity to speak to the family because, of course, he can't. Based on law, he can't reach out and have any contact or anything like that. So, but he does take this serious. That's why he is here to take responsibility, even though we, from a legal point of view, have a position as to causation. We don't believe that it would be proper or necessary to take this case to trial and put the family through unnecessary litigation in this matter. So he is here to take full responsibility. We are entering a plea under Alford, North Carolina, for legal reasons the court understands as well. And so my client has never had an opportunity to address the court or address the family, and he wishes to do so. I've advised him that he doesn't have to, but he has maintained to me that this has been something that he's always wanted to do. He is human, and as a human being, he made a mistake. He recognized it. Of course, nothing he can say can bring back this young lady, and so, but he would like to have an opportunity to at least address the court as well as the family, if possible.
Yes, that's fine, Mr. Kenner. Mr. Smith, you're already been placed under, what would you like to tell the court and the family?
Yes, well, first, I would like to offer my condolences to Ms. Bryant's family. I'm very, very sorry for their loss. I understand their attachment, their love for their loved one, for Miss Stevie. I am also very attached to my family and am in somewhat the, I don't know the words, I'm a little nervous, but I have the same emotional attachment in my family as well. Losing a family member is never easy. And since this accident, I've lost several due to different things. So I have, I know a small idea of what they've been going through. And again, like I said, it was an unfortunate situation. I'm not denying my part in it. I'm not denying what happened. I just hadn't had the opportunity to reach out to the family, even though, they've had me, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm not the monster that they think I am, is what I'm trying to say. I've immigrated here from the Virgin Islands to make a better life for me and my family. My wife and I moved here with an 18-month-old child, and we rode bicycles to work. The first 2 years we were here, and I've put myself through school, my wife through school, my kids through school, and worked hard. That's all I do. I don't party, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I go to work, I come home. And it was an unfortunate situation. And again, all I can say is I'm sorry for your loss. And it grieves me every day. To this day, I still have PTSD and anxiety getting on the road, going to work, especially during traffic, especially when it's raining. So I'm not trying to minimize anything concerning Miss Bryant and her family, but I just want them to know I'm sorry, and I'm not the monster, the reckless driver, or anything that they, feel I am. Now, I don't know. I mean, I pray that they can accept that. And, with God willing, I know it doesn't make it any easier. But I just wanted to be able to at least offer my condolences to the family and my apologies in this situation.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Anything further before we take the plea, Mr. Kenner?
No, Your Honor, I would just ask that the court accept the negotiated plea under Alfred.
Mr. Smith, it's my understanding, case 20 CR 006187A, you wish to plead under Alford to homicide by vehicle in the second degree. Failure to maintain lane, and too fast for conditions. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at the present time?
No, sir.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with your counsel's representation?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on these charges, and that by pleading Alford, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced or coerced you?
No, sir.
Do you offer this plea freely and voluntarily with full understanding of the charges against you?
Can you repeat that, sir? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Judge, we're picking up some outside noise that's covering your voice.
Okay. I believe can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you offer this plea freely and voluntarily with a full understanding of the charges against you?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to accept the plea as negotiated. It's my understanding that the probation is not going to terminate, but it was also, I believe, my understanding prior to Ms. McCutcheon, you didn't have any objection to it going non-reporting once the terms were satisfied. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge. I do believe that is a routine procedure for probation, that it becomes non-reporting, although he would still be on probation.
Okay. And Mr. Smith, while you're on probation, I am going to waive the probation fees to help you get and stay on your feet, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Anything further, Ms. McCutcheon, Mr. Kenner, on this matter?
Not from the state, Your Honor, and I am emailing now the no pros as to the improper lane change and the defective tires. And I will copy you, Mr. Kenner, and I'm sending that to Ms. Bolton.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor. I would just like to get a copy of the disposition emailed to me if I can. Is that possible? Whenever the court signs it?
Yes, we can get you that, Mr. Kenner.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to everyone, Mr. Smith, and family members.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
Your Honor,
you.
that concludes my business.
No, before we leave, also, Your Honor, I did submit to Mr. Kenner, and he had his client complete the forms, the suspension of driver's license, the official notice pursuant to 40-5-54, where the court serves the defendant with the official notice that his license is being suspended. I believe also, Mr. Kenner, your client completed the surrender, an affidavit of lost license. Since we're virtual, we do not have a physical license to surrender to the court. But I would ask the court to check to make certain that you have copies, Your Honor, of those two documents that were sent to the clerks, to the litigation managers. Thank you.
Yes, we have those. Thank you, Ms. McCutcheon.
And Your Honor, who would my client contact in terms of probation and things of that nature?
That should still be in the chat. Check the chat, Mr. Kenner. And if you can do that in the next week, that'd be good.
And Judge, lastly, I know, counsel, that your client reviewed and initialed in conjunction with yourself all of the plea forms, but I know the defendant did indicate that he was originally not from the United States, and I just wanted to put on the record that if the defendant, does he realize that if he is not a citizen of the United States, this guilty plea could have an effect on his immigration status, and one of those effects could be possible deportation from this country. So I wanted to put that on the record, Your Honor.
May I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
I am a U.S. citizen. I was born in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So I am a U.S. citizen.
And Judge, I just always want to put that on the record. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I'm looking in the chat for, looking on the chat for information regarding probation and who he would contact, and I don't see.
It was sent by Ms. Strong. I see it here, but I'm not sure if it's on yours.
Mr. Kenner, it was sent first thing this morning. If you check up on the chat's at 9:33 a.m. It was sent.
Is that Metro?
Judicial Correction Services?
That's correct.
All right. Mr. Smith, do you have that, or do you need me to write that down?
I believe I have it. It says probation. There's a phone number, Mitchell Street, Suite 2A, Atlanta. Is that it?
Yes, that's it, sir. You'll need to either take a picture of it maybe or write it down so that you'll have that.
Okay, great.
I'm sending a probationer contact form to counsel, so we have the information at the top also.
And we're sending you paperwork, Mr. Kenner, also, that will have that information on it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Also, please make note that Mr. Kenner wants a copy of the plea paperwork for his file.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything further this morning?
No, Your Honor. Thanks for helping to move this
Okay.
over. Peace of all.
Very good. I'm glad that you all were able to come to a resolution on this matter. So,
Thank you, sir.
all right. If nothing further this morning, you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good day.
Thank you.